After, so I feel like a light.
Tequila?
Tequila. Okay, I want to talk about for informal. So. Yes, we can. Good. No, not echo. Okay, very good. Raise your hand if you have a consistent morning routine. Anybody want to share? Morning routine is work or personal or both?
Sure.
I mean, it's just like, oh, sorry. Well, I try to wake up at 8:30 every day, and then I get up and I shower, and after I shower, I do my skincare, and after I do my skincare, I do a facial massage, and after I do a massage, I get dressed, and then I eat after about 30 minutes, and then after an hour of waking up, after I eat, 30 minutes later, I drink coffee, and then I get dressed, and then I go. And that's the morning routine, yeah.
I love it. Do you feel like your team helps you in other areas?
Absolutely, 100%. That was like the reason why I decided, like, I need to set this, because every day can work.
So whether your morning routine or any kind, whether it's work, schedule, personal, anything related to that, you feel like overall that helps you with your relationship and also with your business relationship? Probably the overall answer is yes, right? Okay, so I participate in very serious heavy coaching. Consider it something like, what's the highest level of coaching you can do here? Math, the one-on-one math coaching. Okay. So this year we're focusing on community and relationship. And so one of the things that I feel like I've done really well at this year is little things like this. So I put it here this morning, not realizing that class. I need a class. And next thing that we're doing is trying to figure out how we can help you put clients in your team, right? There's lots of lenders, and raise your hand if you get a call from lenders all the time asking if they can partner with you. I get calls from lenders all the time. The answer is probably yes, but they just want your business, or somebody just wants, whether it's somebody in the industry, and I'm just saying lender because I am one, I can pick on myself. But that person, whoever it is, insurance, inspector, somebody like that should, in my opinion, be trying to earn your business. So how do you do that? As part of the Market Center, I feel like it's my job to help provide things, give back to you to provide for your clients. Education for one. Number two is watch for two things coming to your calendar and working on when we can get is a standing home buyer class. People that want to know about finance. Not for people that want to say, oh, I want to know about how do I buy a home. Well, the first thing you probably want to know about is what's your budget. You qualify, have you talked to your bank? If you want to provide somebody with just information on how to buy a home, financing wise, do they need to update their credit? You can send them here. You'll have your own personal link, and of course a pen, but it's going to be not tied to just the real estate. Preparing them on the finance. Very important. Of course, no pressure. Lots of times I hear from people that want to attend home buyer classes, they just say, I don't want to sign a contract. Of course, nobody's going to make them. They come to the home buyer class, whether it's led by you or by somebody else. Number two is mini social classes. So, who has a database? Is your database just the people that you closed? No. Is it your Facebook, your Instagram, you're on TikTok? Also the people that you closed. people that may get a newsletter from you, neighbors, friends, family, all of it. But are you super present on social where you meet people where they are? Usually not sitting in front of you at your desk, right? So I'm having my social media gal come in, and if you follow me on social, you've noticed that we've been doing some upgrades, reels, and posts. And we've been doing that now for 12 weeks. I have been getting 2,000 leads just by helping me consistent on social media. That was one of my initiatives here. I'll take it, whether they turn out to be a transaction today or next year. That's fantastic. So look out for that invite. We're gonna do mini social classes where you walk away with content. She helps you update your profile to actually make it so it doesn't just say, like, realtor, for example, I do that a lot. In fact, I probably or did at one point in time forever. I never did it. That actually does make sense. Love creativity. And I think I have one slide, Marty. If you have your phone, you want to help me and hold me accountable, I'd love for you to sign up for my newsletter. This will be little tidbits. If you scan the QR code, put in your info, you'll get this weekly. You can also forward it to clients. It's not really going to be here's your interest rate. That's important because rates are going like this, of course, as we know. But this is more of family focus. What can you do around the Twin Cities? It will have a mortgage minute. It will feature families, and if you know me, you know that I love the outdoors. It's going to be family focused on the outdoors, and then also bound for adventure. Adventure in the outdoors or adventure in Mumbai. We'll have lots of features there. But I love if you could help hold me accountable. Also, give me feedback on the content too. In this, you'll also be able to submit your families, which I think is true. We love outdoors. We have all the things, pictures, recommendations. On your family or your teacher, you'll be able to nominate them. The last question that I have is, did any of your I do is 5.825? That seems so. Again in a couple months.
Even 2 days.
It's gonna be a little decrease, but I just want to put that out there. Recording that will see that actually happens. That's all I have. I hope you enjoy your lunch and it looks like you're having fun.
Yeah, good evening. All right. We have next morning. I'm gonna ask everybody to mind to come on down.
Now, can you like set it up?
All right, guys. Help me welcome Travis. Watch your class. Kidding. Nobody clap for him, okay? We're gonna be talking about this afternoon, you guys, right after this meeting. Why is this important for you to show up? We'll get to during his time to talk. Because without him, you're not gonna understand. But when we get through this, you guys, what you're gonna come away with is there's a way to do business that is haphazard and stressful. And then there's the way that Travis does business and helps his team to avoid the chaos and the craziness that comes with being in our business. So if you want some systems that you can implement to alleviate or to start to pull back on the craziness, this is why you want this. What is the concept of E2P? And if you are somebody that I knows it, don't say it right away. What is E2P? For somebody who might not know. Or might have a question. What about for those of you that do know? What does E2P mean? Entrepreneurial and purposeful. Now, for the first 10 years of my career, I couldn't figure out what the hell that meant. Because I was entirely focused on being crazy and chaotic. And every new thing would show up in my business. And I was like, yeah, that's going to change it. As Corby once said, I'm going to buy lights for my sign. And we're going to light it up. And that's going to be the case, right? Oh, right? So show up this afternoon, you guys, we're gonna talk to, Travis is gonna be walking through 3 systems that are integral for his system. So this is your place for somebody who's can help you understand where you have a tendency to go wrong. How many agents have you coached in your career, do you think? 25-ish agents that you have helped to try to focus on what we know works. So show up here for that, you guys, and get some of the benefit of what's in Travis's brain. Cheers. And then we're gonna bring him up here in a couple minutes too and talk about this. All right, next up. CE Blitz. How many of you still have CE to take? That's a trick question, most of you. If you haven't already signed up for this is one of those easy courses. First of all, Mike's a great guy, and Karen's incredible. The way she delivers information, if you haven't never sat in a class with Karen, she has a way of making complex and questionable things that happen in our business seem simple and understandable. And Mike's a great guy too. I just haven't had my CE. Mike was one of my initial coaches or initial instructors when I launched. But show up, show out, get your CE, and do it with a bunch of your people here. I mean, how many people do we sign up for that? Just 25? All right. You'd be the first one to sign up in here. Already did. One to sign up in here. Third one to sign up. 11. You guys, here's the thing. He's 11. We need more. You guys, this is just an opportunity for you to get really good information. Here's the difference. You can get your CE off the CE Hub or whatever they call it, but you're not going to get the same takeaways that you get with somebody like Karen and Mike in person. So don't jump on the CE Hub or whatever the hell that's called shop later on. Show up here, integrate yourself with what we're doing, buy yourself some lunch that day, and have an opportunity to really, really get the information you need from people who are creating and curating that content specifically for you, not to the masses. They're talking to you. Here's Karen.
Yeah.
The stick is you get Emmy all over you for the next 3 months. Did you get your CE done? Did you get your CE done? And then finally in June, you'll say, working on it. How about we just get that out of the way? Yes. Yeah. Come on, guys. Thank you. All right, you guys are excited to see. If I said 3, would that make it better? Yeah. Invest in yourself. All right, y'all, come on. All right. Next up, Marty. Bring Travis up there now. This is gonna be weird. This is it, you guys. We're gonna be doing some things here. Family reunion is what, 20 days away, something like that right now. You're going to be hosting some of the stuff that they allow us here. So if you can't make Vegas this year, can't be family reunion. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff, and we're going to be hanging out, and we're going to be having a good time. We're going to have FOMO. Yeah. We're going to have FOMO. Do you want FOMO? You know what FOMO is? You guys, this is why you're here. If you're really honest, culture, the opportunity to go together. It's one of the things that I was really didn't consider before is how many of you have a leadership lid in your life or in your business? The answer is all of you, right? This is one of those moments when you start thinking that you're really, really good at what you do and people should know that. Go to family reunion and realize that you have a lot of things that you can learn and grow. Because there are people at that level that have already hit that ceiling of achievement and are pushing that forward. So if you're not there this year, guys, I respect that, right? Because it's real close. But make a promise to yourself that you're going to level up this year by going to family reunion or mega camp so that you can learn what's next in your business besides just hearing it from me. Right? Yeah. All right, moving on. Career visioning. Okay. So this is crazy. Yesterday, just haphazardly, I had a recruit come my way from Roseville, California. And I got the chance, again, just by coincidence, Roseville, California is where Patrick Woods is the team leader, the OP. I reached out to him unknown anyways, We had a really, really good conversation that I didn't expect to have yesterday. Number one, about career visioning. Number two, he's also teaching 30, 60, 90. And so if you haven't done career visioning and you have an idea of what this is going to feel like, and then also if you're planning on hiring in the next couple of years, set a base for your understanding of why we hire. This is the first hire that we make. Say it louder. Say it louder. We hire admin first. You know, everybody else comes in and says, not trust, I'll tell you why. So you guys, this is good. Well, Patrick's a great guy, from my understanding, briefly yesterday, and from some of the feedback I got from Olivia, our regional director, and obviously Todd, our OP. This is going to be a great class. We don't know where we're going to host it yet, but it's going to be in person, and I'd love to see you guys. Yeah, it's going to be local. We'd love to host it here or in Maple Grove, but the region doesn't always love that for us. Right, Marty? All right. See, now we get to break it on down. Rachel, come on down.
It is always like,
Right?
you hear me in the back. I realize I don't have much of a voice right now. Are we good? Marty, am I switching up here somehow?
Yeah, you just hit share screen.
I think it's really graceful. Thanks for that, Nick. The heck, why does it not? Hit share screen. The tech person, I was joking earlier when I said that. Okay, so my goal for quick time here, because I know we're running a little bit behind schedule too, is talk about how do you guys get paid? What does that look like? Sometimes people will call in and be like, I don't even understand what my cap is. Because when you go through onboarding, Emmy throws a lot of information at you, right? So just wanted to take a step back, make sure people understand that piece, and talk through how to get paid quickly so we can kind of keep a streamlined process. So one of the things I want to make sure everybody knows is that you can actually check on the status of your cap with the Market Center. So everybody has a cap with the Market Center, and then they have a KWI royalty. Do we all understand that? So Market Center cap, solo agents, $13,000, team members, $5,000, right? Generally as a default. And then everybody, regardless solo team, you have a $3,000 KWI cap as well. So if you're wondering, well, where am I at in that? All you have to do is go to your name, my profile. And you go to my affiliations. This seems like the weird step. You should only have, unless you're licensed in 2 different states, you should only have one here. You go to your affiliation of Roseville, and then you can see right here where your cap is. This is Emmy's currently. It'll show you what your anniversary date is. So based on when you joined the Market Center, you have an anniversary date. Generally, it's the month after you joined the Market Center. There could be some one-off situations there, but if I join in February, my anniversary date is March to March. So it's not a calendar year, unless January is your anniversary. It's a rolling 12 months. You'll see here your split. So the default splits with the Market Centers are either 70-30, or if you're productivity coaching, it's a 60-40. As a policy for the Market Center, people sometimes will ask, well, can I have a better split than that? Possibly. So if you are a proven capper in the Market Center and you want to spread that cap out, we can have a conversation about what that looks like. At the end of the day, that cap just has to get paid during those 12 months, right? So if somebody says, well, I'd rather do an 80-20, I'm still going to cap, I'm still going to pay it, great. The only thing that can happen there is, let's say the year doesn't go as well as you thought it would and you don't cap, then we have to have a conversation about paying that difference. But generally speaking, you'll see a split here. If you're in PC 60, if you're not currently in PC or you graduated from PC, that goes down to 70. And then you'll see your royalty here based on the same company dollar, the split. So royalty is only at 6%. It's always at 6%. We have 0 control over anything that happens to royalty. It goes down to Austin. And so that'll happen. So your capping time, so when Emmy sends out like, congratulations, you capped, we're always looking at the market dollar on that. You may or may not have already capped out your royalty. We don't focus as much there. We focus on what's happening here. Are we good there? The other thing I wanted to point out on this page is you can set up automatic deductions down here, so you can manage these. So if you want to donate to KW Cares,
You've seen all of the disaster relief and the amount of money that they've had to spend to help with the hurricanes and the fires in Los Angeles. As well as they help with like when agents have emergency medical situations. They do a lot of really great work, and so they recommend you can set up an auto deduction. Every time I have a closing, I'm gonna donate $5 or $10. An agent who does $100. It's an easy way to just have that there. You don't have to enter it into every single commission. And you can do that with those three. When you go and manage deductions, you can also add other ones in there. So sometimes you'll see some from us that the Market Center puts in that maybe they're not donations. So like one example is we will use, and by we I mean Claire and I, we use the deduction section as like a note for us. So if you're in productivity coaching, you'll see a deduction of a penny that says productivity coaching. So that helps us know that they're productivity coaching. We have to track things. Take that penny off when we get to closing, but you'll see some of those there. So you can add deductions there. You might see that we add deductions in for you. And if that doesn't make sense, you can absolutely let us know there. But this is where you would manage any recurring deductions you want to happen on every single closing versus a one-off deduction that's going to happen. Yeah. Can you see your cap in the app? In the app, yeah. He shook his head. Sorry. You gotta log in on your laptop. Okay, so then I'm going to, so that makes sense, just kind of how compensation structure works. Okay. So then I'm gonna move into my view where I can move around, but you guys will be able to see this. So when you create an opportunity, right, you put all your documents in there. Docs are all ready to go. You know what the compensation is gonna be, so you create your commissions tab, as we like to call it. I'm gonna go pick. Put that in there, you say it's submitted, it's ready to go, that tells us we can go look at it. So when you're looking at the commissions tab, you'll see here, so in this instance, we have 2 agents involved, right? So Lynn and Ashley. The total amount of commission, and then how that's being split up between the 2 of them. So the unit can be split, right? So a lot of times you'll find if you're on a team, you'll see a half a unit to the rainmaker of the team, half a unit to the team member, or you'll just find one person on here, right? If you're a solo. So then you'll also have entered in if there's any outside referral. So they have an outside referral on this particular transaction. So that comes in here. And then whether or not you're capped. So in this instance, Ashley and Lynn are both capped. So they have 0. But if you have a 70-30 split, you're currently on cap, it's going to calculate that for you. You don't have to do any work on that part. A couple of nuances to that. Let's say you got a $13,000 cap, you only have $200 left. So that 70-30 is too much, right? System knows that. So it'll only show $224 left. That's all it's going to take out here. The one thing I will say is, let's say you are killing it. You have 4 transactions currently sitting approved as commissions tabs. And you're like, well, I'm gonna cap on that second one, not on 3 and 4. The system can't say which one's gonna actually happen first. So it just goes by what your current status is. And then as they close, it can update. So if you find yourself in that scenario where you closed on 2, but 3 and 4 are still showing that you have cap left to pay, just shoot me an email or stop by. I just have to go look at it. It's a very weird system, but that's how it refreshes, by me looking at it, and it'll say, oh, this person's already capped, we need to recalculate, and then it'll zero that out or adjust accordingly. So if you find yourself in that situation, don't hesitate to reach out. And then you can see any additional deductions. So they have a team expense deduction, but this is where you would find things like if you're doing KW Cares donations, those types of things. This is also in the deductions when you're editing and creating it. Go in here. This is where you would add in your outside referrals. We don't use that call broker. Don't use that. But if you were in your editing earlier, we were just kind of looking at the overall view. So one deduction that may be a little bit more common is, let's say you're choosing to pay the BAC. We find this. Okay, there we go. You can add in deductions right here. So if you're paying the BAC for your client, let's say I know some agents will do it for first responders, right? That's a part of their business model. They'll pay that. Or for some reason you negotiated and that's what you decided to do. put that deduction in there, you'll find, if you go search for it. VAC, agent pays VAC, put that dollar amount in there. Because when we get the check, if the dollar amounts don't match, we're gonna reach out to you before we go pay you to make sure that we're giving you the right amount of money that you're expecting. So what we'll find a lot of times, is agents won't put that deduction in there, so they'll reach out and say, hey, we don't see VAC, but it doesn't look like you're expecting to pay it either. Let me know what's, then they're like, oh, yep, I was planning on paying it. So then we'll go add that deduction, which is totally fine. It just slows down the process of you getting paid, right? Because then we're playing email tag instead of me just, putting a check through the process. So making sure I use one of your commissions. I use one of yours as an example for them. So that's just one point, to help speed up that process, is make sure that this, at the end of the day, shows exactly what you're expecting to be paid. I'd rather have a conversation with you before closing, saying, hey, this doesn't look right, how do we fix it? Then we already have the check, and then we're delaying you by a day or two. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I went through this a little quickly, but just to give you kind of an overall breakdown of what that looks like. So now closing happens, check comes into the office. Either you drop it off at the desk or it comes in the mail. Linda is always the first step at the front desk. So she'll go and upload your Alta and your check into Command. And then we'll also make sure that your file is compliant. We will not pay out a commission until we know we have a compliant file. So Lynn does a great job of getting ahead of that stuff. So ideally, we don't run into that situation. But if she reaches out to you and says, hey, I need this signature, and then we have the check in hand, we're just going to hold on to it until she gets the signature she needs. So recommendation is at least a week prior to closing.
Honestly, right now I'm reviewing files for February, March, get them in.
Yeah, so currently she's looking at February and March, but I would say at least a week, if not more, the sooner the better, right? You have all your ducks in a row, let's do it earlier. Because here's the other thing too, when you're working with your client, let's say they signed that purchase agreement 2 months ago, and now it's the week before closing and they're having to go change an amendment or do some weird signatures like that, the customer service of that is also a challenge, right? So if you get that to Lynn right away and she can say, oh, you're missing this one signature, we just got done signing, right? I can go back to them a little bit easier for missing that. So the sooner you give her files to review and make them compliant, the better on that piece. So files compliant, Linda uploads everything to Command, the checks come back to us, and then we get to process through here. Like I said, the dollar amounts don't balance. So one of the things that could happen too is, let's say you had a price change at the very last minute. Drop the price by $5,000, so therefore your check comes down because it's based on percentages. We're gonna reach out to you on those things too. We wanna make sure we're paying you correctly, because when we pay you incorrectly, fixing that is a lot more complicated, right, for all of us. Either we have to take money back, we have to give you more money, what that looks like. So we wanna make sure that we limit that as much as possible. So if there's ever a situation where you know that your commission is gonna change based on when you submitted this, just let us know. And we'll be happy to go in and edit that for you if you're unable to do so. Quick email works great. You can certainly try to call us, but email is definitely the fastest way to get through those, because then we can see you give us all of the numbers that we go in and enter accurately. Okay, I think that's everything that I had. Any questions? Clear, perfect. All right. Thank you. Still working? Am I sharing my screen now, or do we want to still be?
Well, while we're getting the handling the changeover, one of the things that you guys don't know is that with Rachel, not only is she really good at the things that she needs to be good at as part of the MCA role, right, which is making sure that you get your checks, making sure our bills get paid. Those are good things. But probably one even better is that Rachel doesn't like to do her own horn, but she's coached some of the biggest agents in the Twin Cities in terms of their profitability, in terms of their structure and their chart of accounts. How many of you have a chart of accounts? That's okay.
Okay. What is it? Yeah,
Chart of accounts are all the credit cards you, oh, no, I'm just kidding. I have that. Yeah. But telling you how to spend your money in a way that has worked for agents that have come before you, that have produced at a high level. So that one, you can keep more of your money, and two, you can make your money work for you. So if you are feeling like you're kind of getting to that point in your career where you've got good handle on your lead, right? Your leads, you got a good handle on your listings. Your leverage is coming in and having a conversation with Rachel about where you can best run your business in a way that from a financial standpoint, she has the model and systems that she employs at the market center level. And even in the down market last year, because of her due diligence, we were profitable, right? So when Rachel talks, I hide usually because I'm afraid of her. No, but when Rachel talks, I listen because what she's doing and how she's done it for some agents changed their life legitimately. So you guys check that out. And thank you for helping us with commissions because we all like to get paid. All right, Marty, you're up. All right, now you're doing right now. All right, everybody, welcome Travis to the stage. All right, my friend, I'll give you this. So I kind of prefaced this a little bit earlier, but Travis, how long have you been in the real estate business?
I started in 2000 at the Madness Heights, Keller Williams.
2007. How long have you been with Corby?
Years. So I was in Madness for about 2 years. Funny story, my wife was pregnant with our first daughter, and things weren't working with the first agent I was working with, and I quit kind of on the spot when she was about 7 months pregnant. It was interesting to go home and tell her that. Like, I got this, don't worry. And then I looked up who was the highest producing teams in the area, and Corby was part of that. I called them up. Hey, let's have a conversation. And that's how we ended up connecting up. We went out to breakfast next.
Tell me what your role is, and then tell me what a day-to-day looks like for you as the for the team.
That's a great question. So I think anybody that's worked with administrators or is an administrator, you kind of wear a lot any given day. You do a lot of different things. And that's varied over the years, depending on the team size we've had and different administrators we've had. So right now, with our current team, I'm the catch-all. I'm doing all of the things. So, yep. So like, doing database management, doing contract to close work, doing listing management, any event stuff. I'm helping coordinate that stuff. I'm wearing all the hats right now because that's where our business is at today. Yeah.
High level of leverage, right?
Yeah, so I've always said, the 80-20 rule, you kind of hear that sometimes. My 20% is taking on the agent's 80%, because ideally what they're doing is generating more business, and they're generating, new contracts, so they're talking to their clients, they're interacting with their database. That's the goal. The goal is for you not to take off all the stuff so Corby goes out golfing. That's not the goal, unless that's in his plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To have a break and have some leverage, but Sean's able, or any of the agents on our team are able to go out and do more and know that their stuff is not going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah. What in the time that you've coached, you said that you've had about 25 agents that have come through the
Yeah, I'd say 25 to 30 I've worked with is probably pretty accurate.
What is a conversation that you're having with the agents that you're coaching at your level, given that you're the leverage? What are you coaching them to do?
Well, I think that Gary's given us the right tools as coaches, and we use 4-on-1s for our accountability. And a previous coach of mine said that, 4-on-1 is just holding up a mirror to who you're coaching. I can't set goals for agents. I can't want their goals more than them, but I can sure remind them if they're important. You might get a text from me Saturday night saying, hey, did you do this? Did you promise? Just because I'm curious. But that's the reality of it. I think as a coach is you want to be engaged and be supportive because there's nothing better than when teammate achieves a goal. Like that feels great.
On a consistent basis, you're obviously, your leverage for the team, your leverage for the agent. Tell us about how you and Corby work together as a rainmaker for Sean, as you coming in behind him. You said like the Saturday night text, right? Because it popped into your head and you want to make sure that he did it. What are some of the other things that you do to kind of preempt the natural chaos that agents bring to their business, not Corby?
Well, I think we're in a unique situation where we've worked together for so long. Like Sean's been there before I had kids, and I've got a 16-year-old, which is wild, so like we're great friends. Like we bond really well together, and where he's strong, I'm weak, and it's vice versa. I can pretend to be an agent for about 12 minutes and then I'm exhausted. Like I don't ever want to sit in an open house. I sold like a grand full of 4 houses. I hired my own mom, representing her.
On this, because I think sometimes that when we think about our business, you are no doubt in the real estate industry, right?
Yeah.
And yet you found a place for you where your skills make the most sense, but also because of the kind of the yin and yang that you and Corby have. I think that that's an important conversation for you to be aware of, is that selling real estate is not the only job in our business. It's not the only position in our business. And had you not followed your heart and saying, hey, this is where I know I'm good, you might have ended up somewhere entirely different. And where would Corby be without you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've, the Good to Great book, where you find the right seat on the bus. Like I'm in the right seat. I don't want to be an agent. Like I'm licensed and everything, but I don't want to go out and meet clients. That's draining to me.
Yeah.
But put me behind a computer and give me contracts to review and make sure that deadlines are hit. I'm your guy. I'm excellent at that. The details.
Yeah.
I mean, the running joke is if I make a mistake, they give me the hardest time. It might happen like once a month, and I just am like, what's that?
You're human?
Yes.
You just send those mistakes to the front desk.
Oh, I know.
And just start giving
And
them.
I'll get a text like, hey, it could happen to anybody. I'm like, oh. So,
Don't worry, I'm not mad at it.
and it happens so few and far between that's just the kind of environment we've created where we, everybody on the team knows my level of dedication to making sure that stuff is done correctly. And when it happens, it's like, they're just like, hey, we're going to just poke fun of you a little bit and it's going to be good.
Do you guys feel that, and Corby, I'll ask you this as a part of it, do you feel that you guys were kind of magical in that? Because, or was it magic, or did you actually go through the CV process? What was it called before? CV now, but
Recruit Select.
Recruit Select. Did you guys go through that process, or was this just kind of a match made in real estate heaven? Okay. So that's not a good way to focus on. But sometimes we take that. Sometimes luck is luck, right? Is that both of them kind of knew what they were good at. That sometimes gets missed in our business. When we go back to the conversation we had earlier about P2P, right? The entrepreneurial is always going to be crazy. How many times and I'm not taking on Forbes, how many times does Sean come to you with an idea that you're like, all right, let's just hold on a minute, right? So you're also kind of the gatekeeper of what you're doing and how you're doing it as a team. So there's unity and consistency.
I can poke fun of them because it's constant, but at the same time, without it, we wouldn't be where we are today. So that's where the yin and the yang are, is because I need someone to help me think outside the box, but I will build that box for you.
Yep.
Once we decide on something, we're gonna build that structure to make sure it works.
Yeah.
The challenge is when you have someone that's just an idea person, they can't implement it. And they're just sitting around ideal land.
Frustrated because they're idealing to solve a
Or
problem.
they're just thinking of the next idea.
Yep.
And then you never do anything. And then your business never grows and then you get a job at Walmart.
Yeah, literally, right? Headed over there afterwards.
That's running through businesses, we're gonna all be trainers at Walmart, so if we don't, get our act together, so we always, that's a mean, like, that's between us.
Daily, together, otherwise, hi, my name's Travis, welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, I'd have to hug Peter.
Seriously, man, he's a hugger. All right, so a question leading into your class. Give me a hint at one system that you think sets the Corby team apart.
I don't know if there's one system, I think it's gonna be a multitude of systems that we use consistently, and I think if there's a word that sets us apart.
Yeah.
Because I am like a robot, I am gonna do things the same way every single time, regardless of the transaction or the client or whatever. Because if I don't, I have this fear that I'm gonna make a mistake. And then, that's gonna send us in a tailspin, in terms of, how that client experience.
For those people that might be thinking of expanding in their business this year and hiring a Travis, how do they find someone like you? And I'm not even trying to be a smartass there. I mean, legitimately, how would you help agents find you?
Well, I think it depends on what you're looking for, because when I've taught classes before on the administrative side, it's like, are you looking for a doer or are you looking for an empire builder? Because they're two very different administrators. I've worked with other administrators that are doers, and we need doers. They're gonna do what you tell them to do, and they're gonna be consistent, and that's great. And every business needs doers, and you have to build the infrastructure to support a doer. They need to know what they need to do in order for that role to be successful. If you're looking for an empire builder, you're gonna have to look a little bit harder because they're just not dangling around. Because they're gonna have the vision of like, I understand what you want, what the result is that you want, and I will build it for you.
And the path looks like this.
Correct.
So we're not doing that today, we're gonna do this.
Correct. So if you are someone that can build your own infrastructure, then hire a doer. It's gonna cost you a whole lot less to hire someone that's able to do that. But if you wanna build something really big, you're gonna have to find an empire builder. And you're gonna have to find someone that's going to be able to take your vision and actually create, processes and systems and build the infrastructure around it.
Really? What is Corby's job in this?
Sean does a great job of giving me the freedom to be able to execute our game plan. He's never micromanaged me, which is great because it just wouldn't work. If I was micromanaged, I wouldn't be here. Because I'm going to do what's right every single time, and I'm going to build the right stuff, and then I'm gonna ask for him. And Sean's role is to build a big enough vision for me to continue to work towards that. So I think that as a rainmaker, you still want to cast that vision for your people to want to work.
I don't see this happening a lot, but I'm sure it has. You might have to dig back in your memory. Conflict, right?
One story, we've had like one major conflict and I got yelled at. I know. I moved his desk with another agent on our team and he came back to the office and he was pissed. He called me and yelled, I was like Dad's mad. I'm gonna move this back now. So I don't see us having a whole lot of conflict. We both are very strong-minded and we respect each other enough to hear each other's opinions. Sean's probably better at it than I am, because he always goes into situations with an open mind. I'm a little bit more judgmental going into situations, like, I think I'm always right.
Yeah.
You know?
Not always.
I've been like once or twice, I haven't been, but no, I think we work well together because we have such a long track record of, I know at the end of the day, Sean would do anything for me, and vice versa. And it's not ever gonna be combative. It's gonna be like, hey, I want what's best for us and you, and vice versa.
All right, Trav, this is your chance. What's the teaser for today? If you had 30 seconds to tell them why they should be in this class this afternoon, what would that be?
So I've spent, geez, a long time, 17 years, 18 years working on systems and processes. I have had so many agents pour into me over the years that my goal is to get back to the agents in our office and just around us. And I want to take that knowledge that has taken me that long to develop. I have actual systems you can walk away with today that you can implement in your business. And that's really what the culture of KW is we give. And this is my opportunity to get back and share what the knowledge I have.
So if you want a shortcut to 18 years of what works, and you do not want to be the chaotic entrepreneur that a lot of our agents are, and again, part of that is about passion. If you want to have an opportunity today to accelerate through what hangs up most of us, give this shot today. Give this one. I know he does pour his heart and soul into it. 2, he really does care, and 3,
I'm super smart.
yeah.
That's what you were missing there.
You never get it wrong.
It will be entertaining, at least.
Entertaining. We're just gonna keep Gorby here, picking Gorby, so it's all fun.
What did I do much different?
Yeah. You guys, let's give Travis a round of applause. Second, let's stay in the room, you guys, and learn something that you can accelerate through. It makes sense for you guys to do that. Anything up, Marty? All right, I will share this one thing. Sometimes this was brought to my attention earlier this week, and I think it's true, and I think it's worth saying. Not everybody in this room is having a shit year last year. Sometimes we come into this meeting and we have a tendency to focus on the things in our business that aren't good. Last year, we had the 3rd largest volume year ever. There are agents in this room that have found the things that work for them, and I'm looking at a few of them already. Some of you also hear every week the downside. Is real estate easy? Did anybody tell you it was going to be easy? It is simple in that the activities that we do, the activities that Travis is going to coach you today, right? The things that you see people succeeding, go to them. They're in this room right now, and they will tell you what is working. The question is, do you have the intestinal commitment, fortitude, to do it? Right? Do you have that? And so sometimes I have a tendency to stay up here and want to fight for the lowest common denominator, right? But I'm seeing the ones, the highest common, I'm seeing the agents that are doing it, that are succeeding at a higher level. And guess what? It's not simple, or it's not easy, but it is simple. And it is a headache. And sometimes you want to quit. I've sat and watched Lisa Prischel dial for a year. Wasn't it about a year? I mean, it felt like that, right? It felt like you just dialed and none of the things. But my point is, guys, is when I look around and I see the people that do this, right? When I see the things that show up, there's success happening. Lynn, you had one of your best careers, one of your best years in your career, and so did the people around you, right? Now she'll stand up here and she will tell you guys that it does not like the lead gen the way that. But when you need the lead gen, what do you do? What do you call it?
Call it $1,000 for dollars. I usually kick my husband out of the house because I don't have the confidence to do it in front of him. He's gonna make a funny face at me. He's gonna do something.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Do you know what, this weekend? Cause I gotta streamline my school a little bit better. Kind of a spin off from this morning. We had an hour and a half drive, I took my iPad, my phone down for years. Down the entire time he drove, and I scheduled appointments for this week.
I think sometimes, you guys, it's easy for us to say, it's tough. It's tougher for me to say, I see you, I'm not pointing at anybody, I see you, and I know that you're struggling. And I know that part of that struggle is in your head, right? Because again, we have the third best volume year we've ever had. What do we expect this year? Better. At the right level, yes, we're expecting another 400,000 units this year, and that is on a low end push, right? So that is essentially 10% more business this year in our market. Anybody have an idea how many deals we closed in the Twin Cities last year? 44,000, right? We're expecting somewhere about 10% more. Your 10% is in that your increase, your market share is in that 10%. And here's what I'm saying, don't get into the garbage of this. Jump in to the things that work. And if you're struggling, I can point some people out right now that have incredibly good years, right? And why they had good years is up to you to ask them how they had a good year, right? Seek them out. If you want to know a top-down report in our market center, it's easy to find. I can help you with that. Finding the people that are having success is going to help you get past the bullshit in your head, right? That says, it's a bad year, they're nobody's selling, my friends and family aren't doing, because guess what? I know people right in this room right now that are doing that. And these people are not better salespeople than you, right? They're just people who pick up the phone and say, hey, how can I be helpful? Right? Hey, how's life? Good, good, good. How's real estate is what they're going to ask. So guys, it's as simple as having more conversations, and also tell yourself, this is my market. This is my opportunity. This is my growth time. You don't take market share in the time when it's busy. When you take market share. Now, right? You take market share. Go ahead, Lynn.
Sorry, one of the calls that I made is I work with a lot of veterans, a lot of them have VA government type jobs. I made a point this weekend of starting to call them and ask if work from home was going to change their housing needs. Because they could work from home, now they're gonna have to go into the office. One of them raised their hand and said, yeah.
And now we're
Easy calls, I was concerned about them, it's just nights being worked into, is it gonna affect where you're living?
it came from a point of contribution. Hey, this is happening. Are you going to be affected by it? She didn't call and say, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy a car and want to real estate today? My name is Linda, I'm the broker. Tell the ladies. And then they said no, and then she hung up. She said, hey, you know this is changing. You know that this can have an impact on you, and if it is, maybe you don't know where to start the process. Which is conversations, guys. So if you're having if you've had a rough year, if you've had a rough month, if you've had a rough day, remember it gets better. Your thought process gets better. And if you're having trouble to get out of that, come and see Alex. Come and see Lynn. Come and see Corby. Come and see Isaac. We're people who've been there before.
Have you a weed eater or something?
No, it's sucking the air up here. That's the problem.
Listen to it.
Yeah. Sorry, I have ADHD, y'all. So welcome to my party. You guys are here. All right, guys, it is time for you guys to go. You have 15 minutes and Travis is going to get started. There's still some food back there. There are some definite cookies and chips. So have a kick-ass day. Go help somebody, go change somebody's life. And if you're not going to change somebody else's life, shit, change your life today. How about that? Right? All right, let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go.